Happy New Year and welcome back to Outnumbered. Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani is now the mayor of New York City, crying about it, sworn in by Letitia James, one of President Trump's most outspoken critics. And while Mamdani has been dominating headlines in New York, another major city on the opposite side is moving in the same direction. In Seattle, incoming Mayor Katie Wilson is rolling out a strikingly similar playbook, calling for government-run grocery stores and new taxes on the wealthy. Leslie, let's start with you. Is Zohran Mamdani the future of the Democrat Party?
No, he is the future, or the current mayor now, of New York City. President Trump wishes him well, likes him a lot, thinks he's going to do a good job. And what works in New York doesn't necessarily, work in Alabama, doesn't necessarily work in Los Angeles, and maybe it works in Seattle. But even though they have some similar platform, they're not identical candidates. And we saw this in all these elections. I mean, what you saw work in the gubernatorial seat in the state of New Jersey was not an exact message in the state of Virginia or in these state seats in places like Georgia and other places in the country where Democrats were successful. And this is something that goes for Democrats or Republicans. You have to know your audience, right? Well, you have to know your constituency. What does that city need? What does that city want? This message resonates in New York, and it's resonating in Seattle, but it's not resonating everywhere. And no, he's not the new face of the Democratic Party, and there shouldn't be one face of a multifaceted party.
But, Caroline, the Democrat Socialists of America, they've notched some wins this year alone. And then you look at Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Zohran Mamdani as well. So do you agree with Leslie that he's not the face of the current Democrat Party?
Well, I get that affordability resonates in these very expensive blue cities, but the members of Gen Z, my generation, who are so spellbound by that mantra, genuinely need to ask themselves, do I want to live in an alternate reality? Because that's what democratic socialism is. Katie Wilson in Seattle has honestly argued that grocery stores are to blame for the food deserts in that city. I have an economics degree, but it doesn't take one to know that grocery stores have on average like a 3% profit margin. They are not getting away with highway robbery. And if she were honest, she'd say, actually, maybe it's the unpunished looting culture and high taxes in Seattle that are causing all these stores to close and shoppers to flee and revenues to collapse. And it's the exact same thing in New York City with Mamdani. He makes capitalism the boogeyman, even though it's not. They don't understand how wealth is actually produced, so it's easy to condemn the system in which they're living in. And honestly, both Mamdani and Wilson, they do have pretty similar backgrounds. I was reporting that Wilson actually still receives checks from her parents in her 40s.
Wow.
And Mamdani had a privileged background.
Well, and he's on, camera saying he doesn't worry about running out of money because of mommy and daddy, more or less. But Tomi, Caroline talks about how, socialism always fails. Right. You look at here in New York City, Democrats have already been in charge for quite some time. So clearly the Democrat policies aren't working here. So why don't voters connect those dots?
Well, it's a little difficult when you have one-party rule, right? But this city is about to see in real time, and in several others around the country are about to see in real time what happens when the left gets everything that it wants. We'll see if it works, right? New York City is one of those cities that is perhaps too big to fail. But if you drive out all the wealth, who are you going to tax? Here's my concern for the city. There are a lot of young people that love the idea of affordability because we all do. He's not going to be able to deliver that. He can't. He doesn't have the authority to deliver a lot of what he promised. But what he can deliver is he can deliver a dangerous city, because you can name people, you can strip certain agencies and certain task force. You can do all of that. You do have the authority over that. So I think you're going to see this city not get less expensive, but you're going to see it get more dangerous. And then the people who can't flee with their wealth, they're going to be the ones left holding the bag.
But, Joe, what I don't get is you have this quote from Bernie Sanders about Mamdani, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically says Mamdani's victory is a win for the working class, and not for the billionaire class. But then you've got people like Bernie Sanders, flies private, stays at fancy hotels, or you've got Mamdani, went to private schools costing tens of thousands of dollars that only 0.5% of the country could even afford.
Right.
Does that hypocrisy matter? Should it?
It should to our media, right? If they report on the fact that AOC, for example, during the Fight the Oligarchy tour, literally was flying private for $15,000 an hour, right? Or she just took a very expensive junket down to Puerto Rico on the taxpayer dime. But of course, it doesn't get reported outside of this network, so I guess they can get away with it. I want to get back to what Leslie was saying before. I think this country is heading towards a place where you're going to have cities that are run primarily by far left people, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis, Seattle, you could go down the line. And then the rest of the country will move more red. We saw that during the campaign in 24, where Trump 89% of counties in this country went more red than blue. So the problem is that maybe you win in places that are predominantly blue, but by the time you get to a presidential election, and you got to win in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, these sort of policies don't work. And if Republicans can be successful in painting the whole party like Zohran Mamdani and the Oprah candidate who wants to give away all this free stuff, you get free childcare and you get free busing, and we'll protect you from ICE even if you're here illegally and committing crimes. If that narrative resonates and the economy is booming, that's everything, then I think Democrats will be in trouble, especially in 2028.
Well, the Oprah's a scary billionaire, Joe, so just for
Good restaurant in Chicago, though, I got to say.
All right, well.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.